Right, it's time to talk about this guy right here, depression. Oh, there it goes, bouncing around. And I'll tell you why. After 20 years of speaking live on conference stages, predominantly around North America, what I love to share with people who ask the question, what's the difference between anxiety and depression, is I explain to them that it's really, they're both sides of a coin and they are experienced uniquely. And I've been living with this rare neurological disorder for just about all of my life. And what I can tell you is that this is exactly how anxiety feels. And feels like you've got no hope, you've got no joy. It's if nothing now will ever change. Everything is dark. It's as if the words joy and hope and enjoyment never even existed. And that's the awful side to the lie that depression gives us. And it is. It's just a complete lie, and it's a chemical imbalance. And I think what also people don't realize is that sometimes you can have these thoughts, unconscious thoughts, just going through your head of all these negative words, and they just go over and over and over again, and they're there with you constantly. And when you're in it, and this is a crazy thing, I've been in and out of depression because of my neurological disorder. Here's the crazy bit: when you're in it, you feel like it is absolutely never going to end, and it fools you every single time. So you really have to remind yourself, because one of the net effects of having depression is we feel isolated and alone inside of ourselves, even when we're within our family units. So what I want to do now is to introduce you to someone who completely changed my life. Her name is Emily. And she works in the safety industry, specializing in agriculture. She completely changed my life, and she has stood up for anxiety and depression in this video. And here's Emily, who I now count as a dear friend. And she's going to talk to you about how depression is really no different from diabetes.
Hi, I'm Emily from AgSafe, safety advisor that comes to your farms and tells you everything you're doing wrong. So I have a question for you. What's the difference between diabetes and depression? Nothing. They're both medical conditions where your body lacks something that it needs to function properly. I was born with type 1 diabetes, and to survive every day I have to take insulin. When I tell people that, nobody bats an eye. But when I tell people that I struggle with depression and anxiety and have to take medication for that, they run for the door like I'm a crazy person. I'm here to tell you there is no difference. At AgSafe, we want to work with you to end the stigma around mental health. I want you to stand here behind the camera with my friend Twitchy holding the camera. He's got Tourette's, but don't worry, with the power of editing, you can't see the camera shaking. So we are reaching out to you, to our farmers, to our friends, to tell your story and to end the stigma around mental health.
One of the big advantages of opening yourself up and sharing with other people what's going on, I believe today it's now called self-disclosure, is there is a huge relief. And once you look at cognitive therapy, everything I'm teaching in this session, and medications prescribed through a professional, is there is a hidden benefit to having depression, and it's this. It's suffering. That's really what happens when you're in a depression. But every single time that I come out of a depression, it feels like I'm coming out of a deep, deep place and looking up, and there's light finally above me, and I can feel it as I'm lifting up. I feel lighter, and every single time I come back with a new insight, or a new tool that I can share with you. So here's the irony. If I hadn't have had depression, there's no way this session would have existed. So one of the things I'd love to share and invite any of you to do, if you're watching this and you saw the video of Emily, please, you can contact me anytime at my email address, which is Stuart, that's STUART, at itwitch.com. Get it? That's ITWITCH.com. Send me an email if you would like to share your story on how you overcame depression. And what I'd love to do is to add your insights into what we're doing here, so we can reveal even more on how to send depression on its way.